I would imagine that many of you are aware at this point that as of March 3rd, I have not had access to my X account. And some of you may not be aware, but if you wondered, why has Bishop Strickland been so quiet on X? I haven't had access to my X account since March 3rd. There are a lot of different theories about why. Honestly, I don't know. I do know that there are a lot of confusing parts of this story that I won't get into. But what occurs to me is, I know many of us have experienced these kinds of frustrations in this world that we live in. Whether it's your X account or email problems or credit cards, I know I've experienced hacking of credit cards and those sorts of things. And so in that way, I guess I'm with you. I know the frustration that we all deal with. And you try to follow the instructions you're given in whatever platform you're dealing with. And it can be very frustrating, very confusing. It certainly has been with trying to recover access to my X account. Hopefully that will happen soon. I really don't know, but I am working on it. I have some great people supporting me in saying, Bishop, these are the steps that need to be taken. And so that's an ongoing challenge that I face is trying to regain access to my X account. More broadly, it I think reminds me, and it's an opportunity for all of us to be aware of the complexities of the world that we live in. Probably like many of us, I actually have an app on my phone to help deal with passwords. There's so many of them, and I honestly groan when I see something, and I have to admit, sometimes I don't sign up for whatever because it's like, you've got to create a password. You've got to go through all this rigmarole. It's interesting. I'm 66 years old, and a lot of this is not, we didn't get the DNA that just automatically knew how to do this like some of the young people seem to have received. It just seems to be implanted into their existence that they know how it all works. So I'm on a constant learning curve for this, like any of us who are 60 plus in the world today, but trying to not be just totally outside of all of this technology that amazingly hasn't existed for that long at all. I can remember when I first saw the first email account. That was in about 1993. So all of this has developed rather quickly, and it's something that all of us are affected by one way or another. And I think it's an opportunity for us to recognize that we can and should use the tools that we have to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ, to live our faith, to engage in this, always, certainly, as with any technology, with anything that's been available to us, it can be used for nefarious purposes. And as disciples of Jesus Christ, as Catholics, as believers, we always have to discern the best way to avoid any sinful aspects of these platforms. I'm using several platforms at this point, and as you watch these YouTube videos, I also use Substack. I still have my bishopstrickland.com account or website that actually I need to get more active again with. But I mention all of that simply to remind myself and remind all of us that these are tools. They're tools that should never overtake us, that should never take so much focus that we forget, what are we using the tools for? To proclaim the sacrificial love of Jesus Christ, to proclaim his good news, to proclaim the joyful message of his truth. And I always try to emphasize that. It is a joyful message. So if you're like me, dealing with the frustrations of some technology that isn't operating the way you want it to, I'd encourage all of us to see the spiritual aspect of that, to remember not to lose our peace, which, I confess sometimes is a challenge. When you're going through all of this rigmarole and trying to get something fixed, it can be very disturbing and upsetting. I encourage us to not lose our peace in the midst of some of the technologies that we have to deal with. And always remember what we are trying to do, to proclaim the truth. I intend to continue to use these platforms as effectively as possible, but always prayerfully trying to remember what it's all about and what it's for. So let us continue to support each other, to believe in Jesus Christ and His truth, and to proclaim Him in all the ways we can in our modern world. God bless you.